everyone, today I am going to be doing a picture here from Matchstick Mouse Springtime colouring book. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using a picture here. Now this is a picture that was coloured by the book author Morgan O'Brien. He did it digitally, and this I took it off his Instagram page, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to copy this picture. I know it's a little bit smaller than this one, but I just did it so I could fit two on a page, because this is another one he's done that I want to copy. So I'm going to show you how to copy this onto here. Now when I'm doing these, I always use Prismacolor. And that's because I find that the way that Morgan O'Brien colours just seems to work better with Prismacolor pencils. It's a little bit difficult to explain, but just the way the layers are done in the colouring and things like that. And also some of the colours. So we've got these sort of very pale pinks here on the nose, which to me look like the sort of deco pink or pink rose, that sort of thing, and things like that. So I feel the colours will be able to match quite well. I have got my Prismacolor swatch chart here, which I made, so that helps me as well. If you know your set of pencils well, you'll know what they're going to look like, but I'm not so familiar with Prismas. I could do it if it was polys. So I've got my swatch chart just to help me, and the picture. So we're going to start, let's start with a mouse. Okay, so let's bring back this and have a little look at the colours. So the hat, if you look, got an orange hat. Now, because I printed this, the colours aren't exactly true. When you take something off your screen, how it looks on the screen might not be how it looked when it was made, because it depends on your screen settings. Then when you print it, it depends on your printer settings. It's not exactly true. So I'm going to do, I might change it slightly. So the hat, we've got a very dark orangey brown, we've got a dark orange, a light orange, and probably a yellowy colour on the edge there, and there's white. Okay, there's a white edge left, so we're going to start with that. So I'm going to look in my pencils. Now there aren't many oranges in the Prismas, so I don't really need to use my my swatch chart. I can just go like that. So I can take this dark pumpkin orange, I can use the mineral orange, the cadmium orange hue, and then the sort of sunburst yellow, and I've got those four colours. I usually start with the darkest one. So if we look again at the picture, we're coming closer, but we'll try and keep the picture in shot, but we don't need to see all of the page. There we go. Let's put it that side. There we go. So I'm going to start with the very darkest part, as I said. There we go. That's a big bang. And so the pumpkin orange, and I'm going to use it for this bit down here where it's really dark. But if you notice here, there's a little white bit there. So I'm going to try and just miss that out. Rather than doing it with a white pen, I try and miss it out. If I miss it a bit, and I can go over it in white pen, that's fine. But because sometimes Prismacolor, the whites don't work very well on top, I tend to try and leave it white instead. Now on this picture we've got a very sharp line here between the two colours. I don't always like to do that, so I'm going to slightly adapt mine. So I'm going to make it a bit darker there, but I'm going to just sort of taper it off rather than doing a sharp line. It's up to you how you do yours. I'm just having a look, and I think we might need a little dark bit just here too, where the ear and the hat meet there. Again, let's taper it off a bit, and maybe just a tad there. Now under here it's all dark, yeah, so I'm going to use this in the whole of this bit here. Now this is darker than I'm doing. I might decide not to darken it anymore. It really depends whether it creates enough of a contrast once we're done with the rest of the hat. Okay, so just going to sort of block it in quite solidly really, but I know, having done this before, that if I want to go over it, that's fine, I will be able to. So now I'm grabbing my mineral orange. I'm going to do a little bit more, so we can extend this area up. You see, it sort of just goes to there. So I'm going to sort of go over the edge a bit here where we sort of faded it. seeing if there's any more white, and then taking it up to about here, maybe just a line like that along the edge. That's what I can just about see from there, and then here. Now when you're copying something like this, I'm just going to go, sorry I've got my hand over the picture, you don't have to do it exactly like this. I'm using this as a guide, and if I feel that because I'm using pencils I want to do it slightly differently, or it's not quite getting the effect I want, this is the cadmium orange hue, and we're going to fill in most of the rest. You see, I think all of this bit is mainly this pencil. Oops, sorry. So yes, if you feel that it's not quite looking, just don't colour over the ear how you wanted it to, or you know, I'm going to go quite light because actually this is a bit darker than I had realised. I'm going to use it as a base for that yellow, I think. Yeah, you can just do your own thing a little bit. Now I'm going in with my sunburst yellow, and I want to make sure I leave here, look, we've got this white line across the top. I want to leave that, if I can, like that. I'm just going to do it first, leaving that white line, goes all the way up there, and then I'm just going to put this over most of it, and we can go back over after if we want to, if we think it needs it, with more oranges or more layers of orange. But I'll just see how it works out when I've just sort of blended it together and sort of thickened it a bit. There. I'm okay with that. It's not exactly the same, it looks much lighter, but this actually looks darker than I think it was in the original picture. Now I've got a few bits of colour on the ear which I'm going to erase if I can. Prisma's a bit stainy, so it may not erase properly, but not too worried. There we go. Now Mouse is just here. We haven't got much of Mouse. I think we'll do hands and ear next, and nose. Now I usually use the sort of blush pink, pink rose, deco pink, those sorts of colours. I think that'll work. I tend to start with the darkest one first. Whoops. So I'm going to start with the beige rose, or rosy beige, sorry, and do this sort of bit down here. If you see here, we've got a sort of dark area there. Now this isn't the same colour as that, I realise that, it's just, I'm just putting this shadow in, like that. Now this ear is brown, so we can ignore that one, but the nose, we've got, I think the darkest bit is there, and then the hands don't really have any really dark bits, so we're not going to put any on them, but we're going to grab our next darkest colour, which I think is the pink rose. Let me just check my pink rose. Yeah, I think it's this. And now this ear has only got one other colour. I'm going to leave a little bit of white at the top there, if I remember. So now I'm going to sort of go over, and hopefully this bit will look a little bit more pink. And then bring this pink up. And I'm going to leave a white bit on the top of the ear. It's not in the picture, I'm using my artistic license. It's good those. Have you applied for yours? Now the fingers are really little. There's a little bit of white at the ends of some of them. So it's quite straightforward. I don't think I'm actually going to use any of the paler colour. We need to do the nose. Now there's a little white bit on the left. I'll just leave that and then go over there. There we go. Now I tend to do worm in this colour too, but it's not in this picture, so I don't need to worry about him. What we're going to do is the body. Now, I usually do a few layers. Just turn my yeah. So I usually start with a beige. There we go, here's the beige, and do all of him, okay? So apart from the white bits, so looking firstly at the ear here, so I'm gonna leave a white line there and then colour all that beige. So I'm doing this sort of opposite, rather than I'm going to leave a white bit there. Rather than doing the dark bit first, I'm actually doing the light bit first, and the reason for that is fur. I like to make the fur look like it's, you know, put some lines in, so it's easier to put them on top of the lighter colour. Now with mouse's eyes, a lot of people I see do a shiny effect by using something like a glaze pen on top, which is something you could do to make the eye shine if you want. I have one, but not in the right colour. I have a black one I could use on this, but it's just not. It doesn't fit with this. Yeah, it's not what the mouse looks like. So there is the basic. And now obviously this is not this colour, but I'm happy with it being like that. And now I'm looking at the fur colours, because we've got a dark brown on guinea pig and this sort of reddish brown. So I want something in between so that it stands out. So I'm going to use a paler brown. So this is light umber, and I'm going to, if we look at the ear, it's just the tip that's darker. So we're going to darken that tip like that, like it is there, but I'm just going to really intensify it and then sort of blend it in a bit like that. I don't want a hard edge. You can if you want, it's up to you. Now on the face, if we look carefully, if you've coloured mouse before, you would have noticed that this bit is plain and everything else is fur, so we can just start going in like this. If you use a line motion, it looks more furry. This is still a base really. We're gonna now if you notice here, we've got a shadow under the hat. We're going to put just here a little shadow in. Now I know that now looks the same colour as this, but we're going to have another colour. I forgot to leave the white line here on the edge of the arms, so I just won't cover them in this darker colour, and I can always go over them with a white pen at the end if I think it's necessary. I probably won't, to be honest. Put a bit in there. Hopefully you can still see. There we go, and a bit there. And then I'm just going to grab another pencil. Now this is the chocolate. Unfortunately it's really blunt. I didn't bring a sharpener through with me, which was a bit of an error. But I'm just going to put some fur lines in like that. And see how we go really. I think that's fine. Now I'm just going to look here to see if we've got any shadow. Not really. I think that's okay. I think I'm happy with that. Now you may want to go over the whiskers with a, I haven't done this here, have I? The whiskers again with a darker black, so they show up. Back to the beige for this ear. We've got a bit of white there, so we leave that bit. And then colour this bit. It's a little bit pale. I'm just going to go over it a bit with the light umber. Just a bit like that. Okay. Yeah, as I say, you might want to go over the whiskers with a black pen or pencil again, just to make them stand out. I don't do that, I might miss, if you know what I mean. Okay, so there's mouse. I think that's all of mouse done now. So we need to look more at our guinea pig. I can't see it all in shot. Hang on. Now, we've got some areas of colour, which I think I'm going to do the pinks first. Let's come out a little so we can see better. No. Just fold the page back. There we go. So we've got the pink. I've got this really pale pink around the nose here, which I'm going to use the light. There's a really light pink, isn't there? Which we didn't use already. This is the deco pink. I'm going to use that for this area around here. I'm just going to have a little look and see how far out it stretches. So it comes to there, around there, under the mouth and to the ear. So it sort of starts here. I'm not going to actually draw a line, I'm going to colour it. Because if I draw a thick line, it'll be visible. and then it goes under the mouth, and it gets a little bit further out on this side, around here, actually up to there, and then we just can fill in this centre area nice and easily. There we go. And there is a little bit of this on the feet and the ears. So I think I'm going to do the opposite to what I did with Mouse, is do these lighter areas first, like I did on Mouse's body rather than Mouse's. And here we're leaving this white bit on the top, like that. And then toes, these toes have got a little bit of white on the top again. And they go up to about there. Again, same here, we've got a little white bit on the top. And as I said before, if it's not quite identical, it's okay. And the back one, can you see the back one just about? Got the white bit on the top of that back toe. There and here. Okay, so now I'm going to use a darker one. You're going to pick up the pink rose. Now this back one has only got a little bit here of darker area and a little bit just on the bottom here, sort of nails, claws, don't have nails do they? And then here, there we go, and then here, a bit here. You could do it a little bit darker if you want. I'm feeling that I need a bit of a darker pencil, not quite dark enough, so I am going to use the rosy beige just to darken up a few areas a little bit more. Hasn't got any claws on that front one. Oh well. There we go. Now the nose is a little bit darker than this, yeah? I'm feeling that it's quite dark in here, so I'm going to use the rosy beige in these bits, and then grab the pink rose for the rest of the nose. I want it quite dark, but we've got a white line across the top, you can see there, like that. And also it seems like it's almost got a lighter line just before that white, so I'm going to grab my rosy beige again and just make it a bit darker at the bottom. There we go. Now I'm just looking at the ears before we finish. This one's quite dark in here. I've got the rosy beige in my hand, by the way, and here, and then the rose pink rose, just a little bit there, and there we go. Now this bit is a little bit more tricky, where we've got these areas of colour because they're not marked on here, but remember they don't have to be exactly the same. So firstly I need to match this colour, this sort of reddish colour. I think I'm going to use the burnt ochre. Let's go and find it in my pencil case. Is this it? Yeah, so here is my burnt ochre, and let's have a look. So we've got a patch somewhere here, yeah, here, this patch. So it starts just after that tuft, yeah, and then there's a bit of grey at the bottom, and we've got white here and here and here. So what I'm going to do is leave that edge a minute and just sort of draw this in there. Think about the fact that it's fur, so we've got lines, yeah, like that. Now if you look closely at this, there are thick darker lines within the lighter bit, we can draw those in if we wish, but let's just deal with these white bits. I'm going to put a bit there, like that, so you can hopefully see the white bits a little bit, and then I'm going to put these slightly darker lines in like that. Okay, now our next bit is sort of here, so let's see, it starts just around the here, so I'm going to start colouring here. It doesn't actually end at the edge of those furry bits. It overlaps here and goes down here a little bit, up here, up to the top of this bit, and across here. How far up does it go? Around here, something like that. Okay, now some of the marks on here are in this grey colour and some of them are in this colour. So I'm going to put some marks in this colour on here, but we'll put some grey marks on here as well once we use our grey. And then we've got a patch on the side cheek here. So it's, if you look at the eye, can you see we've got a paler area around the eye? So we're going to sort of draw that in gently like that. I don't know if that's a bit thick. And then we've got the edge of this. It sort of goes down there and then in a bit just before the whiskers. So down there, in a bit there, and then sort of cuts down here like that. And on this side it goes all the way to the edge, so that's a bit easier. And I'm just going to, oh, I should do it that way so it looks furry, but then I can't see my picture. Actually, the first sort of goes in this direction, I think. I think that is a little bit far away from the eye. There we go. And then it almost just goes straight across like that. But we've got some white on the tops of these bits of fur here. So we need to take notice of that as we put the colour. And then work our way down. This sort of almost goes round like that to make a little cheek. Oh, sorry, I've got an itchy head. I've been outside, just been for a walk actually, and I'm wondering whether the things have fallen off trees into my hair. Don't think about it, it's just leaves. Eek. Right, it's a bit of fur here. There we go. Now, over on this side, we've got a little bit at the top. So, up here, so really just around here, around this ear. So, we've got 1, 2, yeah, so not that, that one. So, not that one, but this one is sort of white on the edge, like that. And goes up here, and then this one's filled in, this one's got a bit of a shadow there, and that sort of fades into the grey up there, and this is really only a little bit like that. Now just looking at what we've got down here on this foot, look, can you see we've just got a little bit of darkish. I'm just going to put a tad of this here because I think it needs to go over with the grey, but it looks like there's a little bit of this colour in here somewhere. Okay, so that's that. It doesn't look so orange as that, and we could, I think we could go over it with some orange, but actually I don't want it to look too similar to the hat, so I think I might leave it. It's up to you if you do or not. Now, at this bottom part here, can you see we've got bits of pink? I'm just going to do those next because I've just spotted them. I think I'm going to use the pink rose, and I'm just going to, just really at the bottom here, a little bit here. I'm being a bit rough and ready. Now all the way down to here, down to the ground, like that, up to that bit, and then there seems to be a bit there, and a bit here, maybe a few bits there. There we go. Right, I think next, for me, this bit here looks like a different colour to this bit, and this bit. This looks quite brown, whereas these look more grey. I think I'm going to have a look at my greys. I think maybe a French grey. I'm looking at my swatch chart while I'm pondering. I think maybe 50% French grey. Because I'm not pressing too hard, I can go with a fairly dark one. That's 70%. My 50% is really worn down. There's my 50%. It looks really pale. Maybe I've got... no. I'm going to use the 50%, hopefully. I have got a sharpener in here I can use, actually. I'm going to start with this tufty bit, go all the way across the top of the head. From here, we sort of carry on there. Can you see? We sort of carry on to the eye. So, I'm going to colour here, leaving that little white bit there. And then across here, and across to the eye, there. Sort of join in here. Again, leave a bit of white on the tufty bits on the top. Even if it isn't in the picture, I quite like it. Oops, sorry, I'm moving everything with my hand. Above the ear. Up here. Again, white edge to these tufts. I can hear someone banging around upstairs. Wondering what they're doing. This one has got the white on that side. Sorry, I can't think of a better way where I'm not sticking my hand all over it. This one's covered over, but this tuft has got the white bit left on it there. That one has got a bit there. There we are. Now that is a lot lighter actually than that, but I think it's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. Now down here we've got a little bit. Yeah, I'm just going to put a little bit sort of there, and a few dot lines like that. This one needs some darker lines too, actually. I'm going to make it up a bit. It's easier to just sort of guess and be completely accurate. There we go. Now look, nearly the whole of this leg and this bit. So but this bit's darker. Let's do the little bit here actually. It's quite easy. We need to leave a white bit there. There we go. That's it. It's not quite the same. I don't mind. Now this starts about here, doesn't it? And goes all the way across and down the leg. Now you can see my lines. Doesn't matter, it's fur. Almost down to there. My pencil's getting so blunt. There we go. And then I'm going to draw some lines in it like that. Okay, now this darker area, I think I'm going to go for the 70% French grey. You might prefer to do it in a brown. I think the grey is going to work a little bit better. It's up to you. I think it's quite dark here, and then it sort of starts here. And just, now it overlaps here, but in sort of lines. So I'm going to there. going to do some overlapping bits there and put a few more lines through here, like that. Now you can put this on a bit thicker and darker if you want to, but I'm okay with it like this, to be honest. Now we've got some white marks here which I haven't left. I should have left a few there and there. Really, where these black lines are, there's white lines beside them. I'll leave one there. Didn't work. Maybe just to the left of each of them. A little bit. I'm going to put a few of these, a few darker lines into the sort of reddish bit like that. But do that there as well. And this, we sort of go under mouse there. Oh, got a few more white lines there. We go out here, but not too far like that. And a little bit there. Now the rest of our guinea pig is mainly grey and light grey. Now I don't think he's white, okay, I think he's a really pale grey, but I think it's quite a, I'm going to do him in 10% cool grey to start with. So here he is, 10% cool grey for all the rest. We are leaving some white marks at the top of these bits of fur still. All the way down. As I say, I don't think he's white, and what it means is that the white areas show up a little bit more if you've got some grey. It just mixes into the pink down here. It's quite straightforward. The desk wants to keep making a noise. Yeah, we've got a bit of dark there that I missed. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Really very straightforward. Sorry, I put my hand over the top. And then we need a slightly darker one to do a few lines, but I think there's still a cool grey colour. So I'm going to grab the cool grey, 30% cool grey, sorry, and do these little lines that are all through here. I think they're just sort of trying to indicate that there's sort of a furry look, and they're running all the way through pretty much. This bit's a little bit darker here, can you see, and here, so I'm just going to put a bit more than just a few lines here. There's a little bit up here, but there isn't much down on the face really. There's a few circles here I can see, I think. And down here is a little bit darker too. Sort of makes sense. But we need a little bit of a even darker colour. I'm going to use my 70% French grey just to do this bit a bit darker here. I don't think that's quite right, but it is what it is. Okay, now I am going to leave that there for today. Okay, there is what we've done. So I'm going to come back and do a second video doing the rest. I haven't got too much to go, but I need to go and get some pens for some of it. You don't have to use pens, but I think it's going to be slightly easier for some parts. So I'm going to go and grab some pens before I do the next bit and have a coffee. But I shall be back and for the next bit in a few minutes, but you'll have to wait till tomorrow. So have a super day. Thank you so much for watching and happy colouring.